to Kelly Barlow Creations. If you're new to my channel and you're stopping by for the first time, thank you for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. Stick around a while by clicking that red button for more crafting on a budget, more everything on a budget videos to come. And if you click it again when the bell appears, YouTube should notify you every time I upload a new video, depending on the option that you choose in the drop-down menu of the bell. If you're interested in following me on social media, you can find those links, you guessed it, in the description box below. What have I got going on for you for today? Today I am bringing to you a non-Dollar Tree Christmas DIY that is very budget friendly. It is December, and maybe not all of us are done doing Christmas DIYs, or maybe some of us are looking for a DIY gift idea for that special someone that we just don't know what to give, but we want to DIY a gift for them. I'm bringing to you a series of 2 videos that are so budget friendly, and these DIYs are amazing, and they are using fabric and felt. It doesn't get any cheaper than that. These are such fun DIYs. They are a no-sew DIY, which is even better. And for those of you who do want to sew them, you totally can. I just know that there are some out there that don't sew. And so I like to bring that no-sew option. I'm excited for the next 2 DIYs that I bring to you using fabric and felt because I think you are absolutely gonna love them and the outcome is amazing. So let me quit my gabbing, let's jump into it, and let me show you what I have in mind for today's DIY. Alrighty, so getting started, I will be using this pre-cut fabric yard that you can get at Walmart. This is by Created and it cost about $5. I am loving this print. It is so rustic and cute, I can hardly stand it. I started off by cutting 2 pieces of this fabric, and I used the entire length of the fabric yard, which was 42 inches, and I cut a piece that measured out at 13 inches wide by 42 inches long, and a second piece that measured out at 13 inches wide by 10 inches long. And this is because this piece is going to measure out at a full length of 52 inches. I'm gonna start off by pressing my fabric because it's a lot easier to work with, especially when you're doing a no-sew project like this one. To get some nice clean lines when working with fabric, it's very easy to do just by flipping your fabric over to the back side and folding that edge in about a ½ inch and pressing it. You're gonna get a nice clean edge. I've done that to both pieces of fabric, just on the top edges. I haven't done the sides yet. Just went ahead again and folded it in about a ½ inch. And this is how I'm gonna attach the 2 pieces. Just by attaching them this way, you're not gonna see the seam or what would typically be the hemline because it will be covered up later. I'm gonna attach it using hot glue. If you wanna use something else like a heat and bond no-sew hem, you can, and that's something that you just put in between your 2 fabric pieces and press it. Because I've got my hot glue out, it's gonna work just as well, so that's what I'm gonna use today. This is the Heat and Bond iron-on adhesive. It's super easy to work with. You can find this at Walmart, and it's just about $1.98, but I'm telling you, why use it if you have hot glue? So you can see that my 2 pieces are joined together, and I am promising you that this line is not going to be visible when we're done. For this DIY, I do need a 12-inch dowel. And so because I was at Walmart and they have this 3-pack of the jumbo dowels by Go Create for $1.98, I grabbed it. I'm gonna stain this wood dowel, and to do that, I'm gonna use my favorite go-to method, which is using liquid shoe polish in the color brown and black. When applying the shoe polish, you're gonna apply it the same way that you would apply a stain or a paint. Today, I'm not using a paintbrush, I'm using the sponge applicator that comes on the bottle because it's just easy and it's doable. When applying this brown one, you can see that it's got kind of a red-orange undertone to it. Not my favorite color. So to kind of mute that out, once I've got the brown applied, I'm gonna go back in with the black and I'm gonna go over it. I'm gonna go over it again with the brown, maybe go over it again with the black, and I'm gonna achieve a beautiful walnut brown that I absolutely love. I've been asked if the shoe polish rubs off, if it has an odor, if I need to seal it. I've never had an experience where it rubs off. Once it dries, it's pretty much dry and it's odorless. I don't seal it unless it's a piece that's going to be outside, and so it really is just as simple as applying it, and when it's dry, you're good to go. I find that it's a bit less expensive than using stain from time to time because I can find this shoe polish at sometimes the Dollar Tree, but most times I find it at the 99-cent store. And would you look there, look at how pretty that walnut brown is, and we did it using liquid shoe polish. Awesome! Now we are back to the fabric. We're gonna wanna fold in our sides now to give those nice clean edges. But to do that, I wanted to use my dowel to measure in exactly how far I needed to fold in my edges. Now, I will say that I did make the fabric a bit wider than I needed to because I am going to finish off the back of this piece with some felt. Felt is about 8.5 by 11 or 8.5 by 12, and so I needed a bit more of the fabric on the sides to fold in because my felt isn't going to be wide enough, if that makes any sense. And so because I wanted this to have a nice finished look, I did need to cut my fabric a bit longer. And so on each side you can see that I have folded it in about 1 inch to 1.25 inches, and I'm going to do that the full length of this piece, which is the 52 inches. And again, I'm gonna go back in with my hot glue gun to adhere those sides down. What's great about using hot glue with a no-sew project like this is that sometimes hot glue will leave that beaded line on the inside of your fabric, but you can always go back over it with your iron to smooth it out, remelt that hot glue if it happened to dry and you didn't get that fabric pressed down good enough. I love the way it works. Again, I didn't have any of the heat and bond hem on hand, and my hot glue gun was plugged in, so it's gonna work, it's gonna get the job done, and it's cheaper because who doesn't have a ton of glue sticks on hand when you're a crafter? And so the outcome is gonna be the same, so it's a win-win. Now I'm gonna take my dowel and placing it on the top of my fabric, I'm just gonna go ahead and fold my fabric piece over the dowel, and I'm gonna hot glue that fabric down there in place, giving me the capability of moving my dowel in and out, because right now I don't want that dowel in. I'm just simply using it to measure how far I need to hot glue the fabric over it, if that makes any sense. I hope I'm not making this complicated because this DIY is so stinking easy and the outcome is amazing. So you can see that I went ahead, hot glued it. That bottom edge is going to be covered up with felt, and you can see here that I am taking my iron and just going over it again to kind of spread that hot glue out. For the back of this, I will be using 4 pieces of a white felt. Again, you can get this at Walmart for about 20 to 25 cents a piece. You can get them 4 or 5 for $1 at Joann's when they're having a good sale, and they have sales often. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and again use my hot glue to adhere this onto the back, giving this a nice finished look. Now you can see here why I cut my fabric a bit longer than it needed to be, because my felt wasn't going to completely cover the back. And so because I wanted it to have that finished look, if you just cut it a bit longer and fold it in a bit more, the felt will cover up the center and the edges will look finished. You're probably saying, okay, this is great, but what are we gonna do with this, Kelly? I'm gonna put the word Mary down the center of it using, again, some felt. This is, I guess, a textured felt. It kind of reminds me of corduroy. This is by Go Create. I found this at Walmart. These were about 30 cents a piece, and I did pick up 5 of them. And I did cut all 5 of them down to 7.5 by 7.5 inch squares. Now taking my Waverly stencils, again, these are stencils you can get at Walmart. Love them. You can tell I've used them before. They are a great alternative to the Cricut. If you have a Cricut, you're gonna cut your own stencil out. Then using some of this Scotch spray adhesive, you can get a spray adhesive at Dollar Tree. It doesn't need to be a good one because we're just gonna lightly spray the back of it to keep our stencil from moving, just to keep it in place so we don't get a lot of bleedage when we paint this. I am going to paint this using some of Apple Barrel's matte white paint. Had this on hand. Waverly's been a bit hard to come by. Using a stencil brush. For this, I feel like a stencil brush is a bit better of a way to apply it than using a sponge dabber, because this is fabric and this felt has grooves in it. And so I'm gonna go ahead and lightly apply not 1, not 2, but 3 coats of Apple Barrel's paint. Because it is a thinner, lighter paint, it is going to take a couple more coats. If we were using Waverly, it would probably be a 1 coat, but we're gonna make do with what we have. Apple Barrel is budget friendly, it works, and it gets the job done. I've got my 3 coats of paint on. They are good and dry, so I'm gonna lightly pull up on my stencil and it's gonna remove easily. Now there are some spaces in the letter that I'm not a fan of, so I'm gonna take my paint and I'm just gonna fill those in, making it a solid letter. I do need to put a couple of coats on those areas, but while those coats are drying, I have some white that bled. I'm not too worried about it because I went the safe route of using a black felt, so that way if my white letter did bleed, I could go in with some black acrylic paint and just paint over that white and clean up those edges of my letters. It's a quick, easy fix, and nobody will be none the wiser that your letter bled. Nobody's gonna even know that you made this because this DIY is gonna look so stinking cute when you're done. They're gonna love it. They're gonna ask you where you got this. And through the magic of video and editing, I have all 5 of my letters done spelling out the word Mary. I am just going to evenly space them out down the center of my fabric banner, is what I'm gonna call it. I am loving the look of this, but I can already tell I'm gonna need to add a bit more to this, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Now, when placing these letters, I did decide to go the route of using a spray adhesive versus using a hot glue, because I was a bit worried that the letters were gonna move and go out of place and I wouldn't be able to reposition them. And so by using a spray adhesive, I really like this Scotch one. You can get it at Joann's, Walmart. It's not very expensive. If you don't like Dollar Tree's spray adhesive, then I definitely go this route. This way you can reposition it for up to 10 minutes. And so that was gonna work for me. Once I got it in place, I did place another piece of felt over it just so I could really push it down and get it into place. When placing these, I did decide to go 2 inches apart. You can see I've got my fabric measuring tape there just to kind of get them nice and evenly spaced. As much as I love the look of this project as it's coming together, these letters are missing something, and I know what it's missing. It's missing puffy paint or fabric paint. So I'm gonna take this 3D fabric paint, I got this at the Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna put stitch lines along the edges of the black felt. I feel like this is gonna frame the letters, it's gonna give it more of a finished look, and it's also gonna give it that stitch quilted Christmas look that I absolutely love. And there, I wanted to show you, you can totally see the difference that just adding these stitch marks made to the inside edge of this felt. It's those small finishing touches that make all the difference on a project like this. I also decided to go in with the black puffy paint and add some black stitching along the camper fabric as well. You can see me up there at the top of the screen there. It was not totally in frame. I'm sorry about that, but I went ahead and added it along all of the outside edges of the fabric, and then I did go in and add some stitching between each of the letters as well. Just again, to frame those letters even more and just make it look like more of a finished piece. At the beginning, I will tell you that I didn't finish the bottom out because I wasn't sure of the length that I was gonna completely need, because I wasn't sure if I wanted 2 inches or 3 inches between each of the letters. So now I know I wanted my 2 inches between each letter, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut off some of the excess fabric, leaving me 3 inches. That way I have the 2 inches below the Y and the 1 inch that I can go ahead and fold over to the back to finish off my edge. Guess what? All that's left to do is to finish this piece off, so I'm gonna go ahead and replace my dowel. I had removed it because I wanted to make sure that I was evenly spacing my letters. Now taking some of Dollar Tree's decorative nautical rope. I love this stuff. I'm gonna use this rope as the hanger for our Mary banner. How easy is that? Just by applying some hot glue to the rope and wrapping it around each end of the dowel that is hanging out outside of the fabric, we have just made ourselves a very inexpensive but rustic looking hanger. I absolutely love this piece. It is so easy, it is budget friendly. I'm gonna say that this cost me under $10 to make, and the outcome is amazing. What's great about this piece is this is a very versatile piece. It doesn't need to be made just for Christmas. It could be made using the seasons of the year. It could be made using your last name. There are so many possibilities for this DIY. It is endless. So I say get creative, make it your own, and have fun doing it, because that really is what DIYing is all about. How cool is that Mary decor piece? I love this. I feel like the fabric just makes it. You can really get creative. You can really personalize this by using whatever fabric it is that suits your decor or your style. Such a fun, budget-friendly piece. It's no sew, it's easy to do, and the outcome is amazing. I love this. I want to make more of them because I love them so much. I can't wait to show you the next DIY that I bring to you using fabric. It is similar and along these same lines, but this is a great gift to give, and I think it's a fun way to gift a picture. So you'll have to stay tuned for that DIY. Until then, please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and let's get this video to, you guessed it, 5,000 likes, because like I always say, each and every one of your thumbs up and those comments that you do leave down below, they really do help my channel to grow, and it helps YouTube to notice me just a bit more. Until next time, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic day. Happy crafting on a budget. Stay happy, stay safe, stay healthy, but most of all, stay positive, and